Awkward Lauren Boebert moments caught on camera. Politicians are often subject to scrutiny from the people they represent. One congresswoman who has been on the receiving end of such attention is Lauren Boebert, a Republican member of the House of Representatives representing Colorado. She was elected to that position in 2020, but the reason she ran for Congress raised eyebrows. In a clip on X, formerly Twitter, Boebert talked about her first time winning a primary and said, "God told me it would be a sign, and a wonder to the unbeliever." X users were not so convinced. Boebert has also been at the center of many big controversies, including racist remarks about Representative Ilhan Omar from Minnesota and inappropriate, and sometimes reportedly violent, behavior from her ex-husband, Jayson Boebert. As is typical for someone with a public-facing job, some of Boebert's controversial and/or awkward moments have been caught on camera or have played out on social media for the world to see. Boebert was not so fashionably late. Time was of the essence in June 2023 when the House of Representatives passed a bill regarding the U.S. government's debt limit, so the government would hopefully not default. Lauren Boebert took to X to tell her followers that she didn't vote on purpose. "No excuses," she snapped. "I was ticked off they wouldn't let me do my job, so I didn't take the vote." Later in the video, she said, "Call it a no-show protest, but I certainly let every one of my colleagues and the country know I was against this garbage of a bill." However, a CNN employee tweeted a video of Boebert from that voting night. In it, she runs up the Capitol steps frantically. Someone from CNN can be heard saying, "They just closed it," referring to them closing the vote. Boebert replies, "They closed it," and keeps running. It makes her so-called protest by not voting seem a lot more like she lost track of time. Inside, Boebert made a statement which was included in the official congressional record published online. She said, "Mr. Speaker, I was unavoidably detained. Had I been present, I would have voted nay on roll call number 243. Boebert didn't do her homework. When Michael Regan of the Environmental Protection Agency was present for a July 2024 congressional hearing to voice his concerns about a Supreme Court ruling, Lauren Boebert completely misunderstood the situation, and the whole thing was caught on camera. The ruling in question meant courts would be able to come to their own conclusions when laws and regulations were unclear instead of the federal agencies doing so. During Reagan's hearing, Boebert went off on an unrelated tangent. In a video of the hearing that made the rounds online and was shared by The Independent, Boebert snapped, "I'm asking about the EPA, and I'm asking about your rogue bureaucrats that have enacted these unconstitutional regulations. Are you going to repeal them? Are you going to continue to implement them, or are you going to stop altogether?" Since it's been overturned, visibly confused, Reagan asked, "Do you understand the rulings?" Boebert fired his own question back at him, and the duo talked over each other many times. At one point, after Boebert doubled down on how the EPA needed to repeal some regulations, Reagan laughed at her. Representative Daniel Goldman from New York later stepped in to explain the ruling for Boebert's benefit, explaining how nothing needed to be repealed. The damage was already done at that point, with Boebert's cluelessness on full display. The 2022 State of the Union had many awkward Boebert moments. In 2022, Lauren Boebert had an outburst during President Joe Biden's State of the Union address that many found disrespectful. Biden was discussing the cancer that killed many American soldiers, and as he was about to mention his late son, he said, "A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin." I know, a video shared by NBC News shows Biden pause, although Boebert's interruption cannot be heard. According to The Hill, Boebert shouted, "You put them in, 13 of them." Boebert was referring to the soldiers killed when U.S. forces exited Afghanistan in 2021. Many of the attendees were shocked by what Boebert said, and her comment caused a bit of an uproar. Joe continued, one of those soldiers was my son, Major Beau Biden." Boebert heckled the president a few other times while he was speaking, and another of her awkward moments from the event was filmed and shared on X. While everyone was clapping and facing one direction, Boebert looked completely clueless, facing the opposite way. The Beetlejuice musical was a location for Boebert's bad behavior. In September 2023, Lauren Boebert and Quinn Gallagher, a bar owner, went on a date to see a touring production of the musical Beetlejuice. They were told to leave. The Denver Post received details from a report written by Denver Arts and Venues, which said 3 attendees complained about unnamed theater guests. The guests' rowdy behavior included vaping and singing loudly. At intermission, they were asked to stop. They continued causing a ruckus and filmed the show illegally, so they were asked to leave during Act 2. An usher from the theater said in the report, "They told me they would not leave. I told them that they need to leave the theater, and if they did not, they will be trespassing." The guests wouldn't go, so the police were called. Boebert's campaign team ended up identifying her as one of the troublesome guests, with her campaign manager Drew Sexton downplaying the behavior as Boebert just really enjoying the show and not realizing pictures weren't allowed in a statement to the Denver Post. He also said Boebert claimed she didn't vape during the show. The story took a turn a few days later when it was revealed that Boebert and Gallagher reportedly engaged in some sexual touching during the musical as well. MSNBC's Morning Joe shared surveillance footage of Boebert taking photos with Flash during the show and dancing in her seat. The report also said, but thanks to the high-quality cameras there in that theater, Boebert had to change her tune and apologize after surveillance video revealed that she was indeed vaping, as well as she and her companion explicitly groping each other repeatedly while they were in their seats. Boebert apologized for the inappropriate behavior. Boebert's limited activity during a tense election caught attention. Not all of Lauren Boebert's awkward moments have been recorded or photographed. Some are backed up by her social media digital footprint. During the 2022 election, Boebert beat Democrat Adam Frisch for her same seat in the House of Representatives. She earned 50.1% of the votes, per Reuters. Since the race was so close, there was a stretch of time when Frisch was ahead, and it was believed he would win. During that time, Boebert tweeted to celebrate the win of Representative Anna Paulina Luna in Florida. "The red wave has begun. America first is winning." However, X users couldn't help but laugh at Boebert, since she was losing at the time. Then, there was an awkward stretch of silence on Boebert's X page. Adam Parkhomenko, a Democratic strategist, posted a tweet the following morning. Lauren Boebert has not tweeted in 10 hours. Her last tweet was, "The red wave has begun." With 93% of the vote and she is still losing her election, he updated his thread at 17, 20, 23, and 26 hours, cataloging the continued silence from the Republican politician. Although Boebert ended up winning, it likely wasn't the landslide victory she was hoping for.